This episode of the All About Nothing podcast is brought to you by Everplay Sports and Social. Look, for 10 years, I have absolutely enjoyed the time that I have spent every week playing in leagues that have been brought to us by Everplay Sports and Social, whether it's kickball, softball, bowling. Everything they do is just fantastic, and the way that they do it is just absolutely great. So I need you to know, right now they are signing up for their late fall leagues. Monday indoor volleyball over at Tri-City Leisure Center in West Columbia. That's going to be 5 weeks. You got Tuesday sand volleyball at Pollywogs. It's another 5-week session. Wednesday flag football, 7 weeks at B Avenue. Leagues are signing up right now through October 8th. That is the deadline. So make sure you go to everplaysocial.com, because if you don't, you'll miss out. Go do it now. You will have a great time. You get to be with friends, you get to meet new people, and you get to participate in sports that we did as kids. So go do it, everplaysocial.com. Proud to be a sponsor of the All About Nothing podcast. All right, good morning, everyone. This is the All About Nothing podcast kind of daily show. I am Barrettgruber, joined by Mr. Bill Kimler. You can follow us both across all social media. I am on everything at Barrettgruber. Bill is on everything at politicalbillsc. He is the host of Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jamil Brooks. Good morning, Bill. It's a Friday.
Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you accommodating this change in schedule here.
Nothing if not accommodating.
I heard your solo attempt. I heard your solo attempt yesterday.
Yeah.
And appreciate you carrying the torch forward. I think, you were kind enough to kind of keep vague and respect my privacy as to where I was.
Sure.
But I was raptured. I mean, we were mocking about it, and it turns out I was sucked up into the air unexpectedly. I was one of the chosen, and I was birdieing you all the way from the sky, right? Just saying, F y'all, I'm out of here. And then I get up to be checked in at the pearly gates, and they saw that I had carved anti-ice into my belt buckle. And then they kicked my ass right back down to earth late yesterday. So here I am again and able to do your show.
Well, I'm glad.
Have we been taken down yet?
No, not yet. No,
because that was truly misinformation. I'm flagging it now for the lords of TikTok. That was misinformation, and you can definitely press that button.
The new lords of TikTok, I guess.
I
as
know.
Of this morning. Explain to me how. And I don't think you're going to be able to, but how is it that the president can sign executive orders spending money that is not allocated to the executive branch of the government? How is that possible? I don't think it doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense?
Because he has a U.S. Congress that raises its hindquarters in submission to this president for anything he wants. So the power of the purse is with the U.S. Congress.
Yeah.
The U.S. Congress got on one knee and handed the purse to Trump. So that's how it's done. They could step up and stop this at any time, which by this time next year, or around this time next year, that will be the case. Congress is going to put a stop to this stuff, but that's why. And then I saw the latest that, with Larry Ellison of Oracle and all the data centers that he owns, that they're going to retrain the TikTok algorithm using US only data, which means hand selected data that this government possesses. And I'll tell you another weird thing. I don't know about you, but I use a VPN for all my internet stuff, and it routes me through, I think, Romania, because that's the language that keeps popping up in my browser.
Okay.
But I everything I do is through VPN, which should be standard protocol. So how are they going to know what is US data at this point? What's going to be remaining, I think, is not the tech savvy users who use VPNs and things like that for privacy. It's going to be the elderly grandma and grandpas who are on railing uninformed at the sky. It's going to be their data that TikTok's going to be trained on. TikTok is going to be useless. So this is an investment that's going to go up in smoke.
Yeah, I honestly look at TikTok as being every time we get banned, part of me is like, fingers crossed. They're not going to. This is going to be a lifetime ban, and I'm just never going to have to acknowledge TikTok's existence again. I mean,
so are you streaming on YouTube as well?
Yep. Yeah, we're on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, the only one that we don't have, I think, is LinkedIn, and LinkedIn requires you to fork out the cache.
And I didn't even know Twitter. LinkedIn has streaming. Huh.
They do have streaming. Yeah, they do have streaming. Our company uses their streaming sometimes for some of our big events. So
how about that? Well, because I saw that YouTube and the lords over at Google have decided that misinformation and violent speech is now allowed on their platform, because they've gone and reinstated all of those that they had banned from January 6th and COVID misinfo. They've gone and said, listen, we're now going to allow free speech on our platform. So YouTube might be the refuge that we go to.
Yeah. And I don't have any issue. I absolutely believe that there does need to be some level of validation to the things that people say. I have no problem with being corrected. Hell, we had a me before she started her podcast used to be our corrector. Like, she would watch and listen to the show, and then she would tell me the things that we got wrong. And
that would piss you off so much. I remember the big tirades you used to launch against her whenever she did that. I remember those days. You would just be labeling her as a censor, and
I don't think she minded. I don't think she minded. I don't TikTok. I think community guidelines are important, and I think that there should be something that is at least validating, or if something is said or promoted as being fact when it is completely false, I'd like for there to be some sort of a check. It doesn't bother me whatsoever.
There's a viral joke that's been going around on the printed social media, like Threads and Twitter, etc., that fooled me. So I want to try to describe it. It's basically somebody would post, I am anti-fascist. Like, that would be their post, right?
Sure.
But then underneath you would see a little community note that had like the little I circle for information and says that this account has been flagged as a terrorist, or a supporter of a terrorist, etc. And, by the Trump administration or the current administration. And it looked like an official note. And it wasn't an official note. It was actually utilizing certain Unicode characters to make it look like small italics. It made it look like it was a note, but it wasn't. It was actually just part of the thread, part of the post itself. And so when I first saw it, I got all irate. I'm like, what are these platforms doing that they're now labeling individuals as terrorists? But truly, it was just a joke that the posters were putting out there. And I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, I saw it. And honestly, it didn't trigger me in any way, shape, or form. I was just like, oh, look at her badge. And then I moved on, because I was like, well, in my head, I guess it didn't strike me as being very important. Mostly, I think, because of everything else that was going on. And so, having a label, like if that label appeared on mine, I'd been like, oh, well, that feels unnecessary. But, I probably would have moved on with the label. I would have been like, look what I got.
It would have come at the same time as those military helicopters are circling over your house.
Dude, I'm going to tell you, like, I could, if I could have seen, I could see the pilot's face. Like when he was approaching,
of course they were hovering right outside your window. I mean, hello, guns trained on All About Nothing Pod, Big Media Empire headquarters.
Yeah, exactly. It's very important that they keep up with that. But yeah, no, it was very odd. And I went on the flight trackers where normally you can see military. You could see plenty of military. I don't know, planes, helicopters, and things like that all over the country. But when you came down close to our area, there were no transponders on.
Over here in Greenwood, we get occasional sonic booms from Lockheed Martin jets flying over our area. Yeah, and I don't know if you've experienced a sonic boom, but it shakes the house.
Oh yeah,
like it feels like somebody picked up a tree log and just slammed the side of your house with it, because everything shakes and it's loud and sounds like somebody just stomped on your roof.
Yeah.
Bizarre, but it happens every once in a while.
I live on the western approach for the Columbia Airport, and we will get touch and goes from both the C-17, the propeller one, and then
what's a touch and go mean? Hit me up with that lingo.
Basically, these planes come in and just tap they come in, they tap the runway, and then they take back off. Columbia, South Carolina's airport is notoriously short. It cannot accommodate like 747s and things like that. The only 747s that we have flying to Columbia are the FedEx and the UPS, because those don't have any passengers. So the runway being the length that it is, these military large globe-trotting, planes that carry tanks and things like that, they will come in and they will do what's called a touch and go, where they'll come in and they'll drop their gear, or not drop their gear, they'll drop their wheels. The wheels will hit the tarmac, and then they'll immediately throw on the thrusters and basically just take the plane and just go straight up.
Yeah.
Because with the jet engines that they have on them, they're the size of the Twin Towers when they were here.
Did I tell you already that I saw that they're building a plane that's going to be the size of a football field?
No shit.
Did I share that with you? Yeah. So I read this, that they're in the middle of constructing or designing a plane that's 3 times larger than the largest plane today. So it is literally the length of an entire football field, and its sole purpose is to transport wind turbine blades.
Okay.
So they're finding it now impossible to put these on land vehicles and navigate the country to deliver them to where they need to go. So the plan is, you load up these long blades onto this specialty craft, again, the length of a football field, and then they fly it directly to whatever wind farm is being built, and they'll construct a special landing strip just for these planes, and you just land the plane there. But it would make me think about like those Marvel films, like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and those shield crafts, that are the size of small cities floating in the air. Can you just imagine seeing a football field taking off and landing? How wild that would be to witness. Just the size of it. Your brain couldn't comprehend it. It would be awesome.
I want to witness that. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Did the president had a run at
who? We're talking about him again?
Yeah.
I thought we already covered everything there was to cover about that guy.
Well, he spoke at the UN on Monday, was it?
Yes.
I don't remember. Did we talk about it at all? I think we talked about the escalator, but that was about it. Well, okay. So that there have been several people, especially in the White House, that have really been pushing for him to get the Nobel Prize for peace. And with all of the nominations that came in, including one from Pakistan, our own state senators and governors and things like that have also been submitting his name. Well, the Nobel Prize committee came back and had some questions for him after his eulogy at the Charlie Kirk memorial. Some of those being around statements where he said, "I hate my opponents.
I hate my opponents. Where's my prize?"
Yeah, he said, "I do not wish any good for them." So the Nobel Peace Prize is coming back and they're saying, so I don't think they legitimately believe that Donald Trump was somebody that they want to give the prize to, because unless there was literally no one else on the list. I mean, and I'm not saying that everyone that's ever gotten the Nobel Prize for Peace has been, in my opinion, a valid recipient of them. And I don't know who all of them are, but it's the same as like Times Man of the Year. Hitler got Times Man of the Year, twice in the 30s and then once in the 40s. So
twice more than I ever got. So good for him.
I'm just saying it. So there are people that have gotten the award and not really been worthy of what the award is supposed to represent. But then
didn't Trump take his Time Man of the Year altered cover and then frame it and put it in his office?
It's on the wall in Mar-a-Lago right. And I can't remember exactly what ran the actual printed week that he has that on the wall. But it has nothing to do with Trump in that particular magazine.
Yeah.
It's just very narcissistic. Trump also claimed apparently that he has ended 7 wars around the world, including wars between Cambodia and Albania, which are like 4,000 miles apart. That's like
it was close. It was a close call. Now I saw a meme that like somebody drew a map and stuck Albania and Cambodia right next to each other.
Yeah, I saw one of those.
But I didn't catch the reference. You're saying that he literally said Cambodia and Albania, that he stopped that war.
Cambodia and Albania. Yeah, this was a claim.
It is so difficult anymore to know what's joke and what actually occurred. It's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those poor fuckers over at The Onion have resigned en masse, saying we can't compete with reality anymore.
Some of the stuff you sent me from The Onion, because it doesn't come up every single time. Like, I don't see it. But the interview with Kash Patel,
oh yes,
that was faked was fantastic.
That wasn't fake. That was an actual question and response. I mean, as far as I know, I mean, is there anything there that indicated that was fake compared to the testimony he gave?
100%. That felt very real. And those actually could have been words from his testimony, just not related to the questions that were asked at the interview. He's weird. He's a weird little dude. That's all I can really put to that. You saw that the friendship statue in front of the Washington Monument was taken down.
It was
apparently it wasn't just Trump's I don't know, disagreement with the fact that there was a statue of him and holding hands with the notorious child sex offender, like Epstein. Couldn't think of his name.
Oh, I thought you were trying to avoid saying his name to keep us from being banned.
No, ultimately, I think that I think my brain had tried to move on from having that knowledge, and I had to re-trigger it. Like I was in a happy place where I didn't remember that Epstein had existed, which I think is what Trump tries to do every day, and then he's disappointed that he's reminded of just all the offensive things he very potentially allegedly did with Jeffrey Epstein. But no, they removed the statue because apparently the permit only allowed for like a certain size statue, and this one exceeded the size by a lot.
It's those damn Democrats breaking the law, always breaking the law. It was supposed to be 6 feet in height. They made it 8, breaking the law.
It's I think they'll do it better next time. I think the likelihood is that the permit that gets issued, whatever statue they create or whatever, monument, because it was put up for Friendship Month, which I guess
I hope October. He is hounded with this until the end of his days. Like when he went to the UK and the people of England rose up to that occasion and flooded the country with Epstein references. Good for them. We should only put in half that effort here in the U.S.
Yeah, that was a good showing. The fact that at the Windsor Castle, which is a tourist attraction, I guess it's a private residence, but there are sections of it that are available to the public. And the fact that while he's at the Windsor Castle eating a meal, someone took a high definition projector and put the image of Trump and Epstein together on one of the round pieces of the castle, and they left it up there for hours. There was a story that apparently the projector burned out at one point, and they had 3 on standby ready to go in case of the burnout.
Well, I have it on good authority that over the scientists and R&D staff over at Antifa headquarters are working on a holograph projector that's going to be able to create images that are visible from a tri-state area above DC. And they're getting ready to reveal it because you can't just take that down, right? It's going to be amazing when that comes through. So they're working hard on it, and I think they're now in QA mode. So we should be seeing that shortly.
There are apparently several, according to internet videos that I have seen, there are also drone artists that are apparently being paid by George Soros or somebody.
Yes,
but that are going to be using drones in areas that would not be considered spaces where they could be shot down for being in military space zones or whatever. But they plan on projecting very high quality looking images of Trump and Epstein, as well as adding verbiage to the sky. And there's one guy that says that as soon as he's got access to the Epstein files, like if they get released, which I think that they will eventually get released, that he plans on running like a Star Wars script of the actual Epstein files using drones.
Oh, wow. Wow. Beautiful.
And like somebody in a comment was like, you all do it. There's no way you guys want to see Democrats on those lists. I was like, I don't want to see any names on that list except for one.
But that just shows you the mentality, because they don't want to see their guys on the list. So they assume the other side doesn't want to see theirs.
Yeah.
And we're like, F it, show it all. We don't care.
Show every name, every single person that caused harm to any child or teenager that wasn't of age to make a decision for themselves without. Yeah, every single one of those people should be drugged through court. And I'm not one of those. I'm not in favor of capital punishment, but I will just say up to that point, every single one of them should be convicted of, or at least a trial, and then absolutely put under the jail if necessary.
So let me pivot to a brand new subject, because I want to tell this to you before time runs out. So I was in Atlanta this yesterday for work. So I went Wednesday night, work yesterday, and back home now. We were meeting with a customer that we had just signed, project that's kicking off, and went out to dinner Wednesday night with the customer. So my company and the customer, we all went out to dinner. So we went to this place. Gosh, and now I forget the name of the place. It was like 3 Point or something like that. Some weird name.
Okay.
Right there in Atlanta, had a park in a parking garage, find my way through this building, saw the sign for the place. And then when I walk in there, it's just a single small room, like a lobby. It was a business. It was an insurance business. And there was one lady there at the reception desk, and there was like maybe a couch and bookcases just filled with like insurance looking documents. And that was it. I mean, it was a very small reception room, maybe 6 feet by 4 feet. I mean, we're not talking like the size of your room there, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm here to meet with, so and so. And she looked down at us. She goes, okay. And she pushes a button on her desk, and one of the bookcases swivels open, and behind the bookcase reveals this fancy exclusive club with people walking around with cocktails and a bar and stuffed heads of animals on the walls.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, what the F is this? And so I walk in there, and apparently it's a private club that somebody from my team has a membership to. And this is where we ended up entertaining these guests. But it was such a pretentious place. I was like, listen, I'm a Waffle House guy, right?
Yeah,
Give me a burger at Wendy's. That's what I'm at. This was, you got a glass of water and you've already got a $200 bill on your table. And then they made it like a James Bond, or Hogwarts. I found the secret entrance to walk into this place.
Yeah.
The food was fine, but they also had this weird thing in the bathrooms. I get this. You go into the bathroom and you do your thing, and they've got a button in the sink area that you press that button. I don't even think the button told us what it was for, but you press this button, and then when you walk out of the bathroom and you pass by the bar, they have a drink waiting for you. And there's like a standard beverage they give that if you press the button in the men's room, it's a shot of whiskey. And if you press the button in the ladies' room, it's a glass of champagne. And it's just waiting for you. No charge. It's just like, it's your courtesy drink for having used the bathroom.
Yeah, that is pretentious. I feel like in those situations, I feel like I'm being monitored in the bathroom, and I hate using, like, I get this is a private place, but like I hate using public bathrooms. I will hold it as long as I possibly can until I'm probably rupturing some organ. But like that to me just strikes as just absolutely one of those things that I to know that there's somebody potentially monitoring me or waiting for me to come out. Those sort of things they strike me as just weird.
Well, I don't have a problem with public restrooms, but to your point, I have a problem when there's an attendant in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Somebody there to hand you napkins or towels and soap or whatever. Like, that's where you're being monitored, because the dude's job is there to watch you and do your thing, and then be prepared to attempt to serve you and be tipped by you as you come out of that bathroom.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That's definitely one of those things. And I feel bad for those people. I know that's what they're hired to do. I know that was what the intent was of their position. But like, let's say you've got somebody who's much, much more free about using the restroom than I am. And they're in there dropping deuce after deuce after deuce. And you're the guy that's standing in there as the attendant with just smile on your face, just wait. Like, do you have to have some sort of special Tom Cruise Mission Impossible surgery where they remove like the smelling nodes out of your nostrils? Or it's just weird. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I wanted to ask you about something else that felt weird, because yesterday Pete Hegseth, I know you're going to be like, oh, whiplash. Pete Hegseth has ordered like some 800 generals and admirals to show up in Virginia next week under this emergency meeting. We've never seen anything like this before. And I guess I want to understand what it is that's going on, but there's nothing that's been said. So I have two theories. One of which is that this is some giant photo op that they want to do for the president. They want to get the president to take a picture in front of all of these generals from all of that have been stationed all over the world. Or this is an authoritarian move where they're going to tell the generals, get in line, resign, or be fired. And I know I'm speculating on what this potentially could be, but it feels very awkward.
Here's what history teaches us about this president and his administration and the people he puts around him. History teaches us we will be completely underwhelmed by whatever actually happens.
Sure.
Because every time grand announcements are made, or I will have a big announcement on Friday, or stay tuned, and everything is pumped up, and then it's just a fart in a breeze that actually happens on that day. We have been underwhelmed time and time again because he and these people are not capable of grand actions. They just can't. And so I see this as a PowerPoint presentation that Pete Hegseth is going to give that's going to be rambling, weird, and the generals are all going to fly back going, what the F was that all about? And we're going to hear reports about how bad it is. And then the Trump administration is going to try to root out the leakers and try to spin it the other way. It's just going to be underwhelming. That is where I'm going to put my $10 bet on.
Okay.
That it's going to end up being a big, underwhelming wet fart at the end of the day.
Well, you are anything if not correct most of the time. So,
as somebody who's been raptured and returned with the gift of foresight, I can tell you this with certainty.
Yeah, I hope you're right. Linda in the comments also hopes you're right as well, because it feels awkward, and somebody put a price tag on what it's going to cost to fly every general and admiral into Virginia for a whatever it is. $2.5 billion is.
That's fine, because this whole thing has been funded by corporate sponsorships. So when they get there, they'll see that this meeting of the U.S. military leadership was sponsored by Coca-Cola and Depends diapers, or some combination thereof. Yeah. So I'm not worried about it. Hey, I hope today's episode was a lot more listenable to the critics that we have. I heard you yesterday reading some of the comments that we are unlistenable. So I'm hoping we get a little more listenable today. I'm open to positive feedback and willing to take corrective actions.
Yeah.
So I want to appreciate those who have taken the time to let us know when we have gone astray.
In reflection to why they thought it was unlistenable, I have seen this particular person make comments before, including earlier where we were called cucks. So I have a feeling I know. Bill's like, yes, we're watching each other through this medium, not any other thing. Just to make that clear.
Other thing. That's right. I am not an attendant in Barrett's bathroom. I am not monitoring his moves. So there's no watching going on.
Well, I'm glad you made it home safely.
Thanks.
And I apologize for the misinformation of saying that you were spending more time in Atlanta than I thought you were.
I was initially a little put off when I saw that you dropped an episode yesterday without me.
You know what it was?
You felt like, you know what, Kimmler is not necessary. Political Bill is optional. I look at me go solo, And you were like, I'm Jimmy Kimmel. Look at me fly. And yeah, good for you.
I'll just say this, that sometimes I get in such a pattern of habit that I got on Thursday and sat here until right up until the very end and was like, oh yeah, he's not here, but I was already.
Okay, that is Occam's razor. The most plausible argument, the most likely explanation is it. So I buy that entirely. Well done.
Totally forgot that you were going to be here, and then like it was 5:29, and I was like I don't know what because I should I text him, and I started to reach my phone. And I go, oh yeah, I guess we're gonna do this. So that was so. Well, listen, again, I'm glad you're home, and I do appreciate every morning that you get up and do this with me, because it's fun for me.
I appreciate your shirt.
Yeah, it's a good one, right?
Yeah,
it's a good one. It's a
my daughter would like that one.
National Parks shirt given to my friends Sarah Jane Byers, who does a few segments on the All About Nothing podcast every now and then, just to express from her perspective, because I don't think our podcast has enough female, especially in her generation, voices on it. So I appreciate when she's able to put one of those little episodes together for me. So we have episode coming up on Monday that we do a walkthrough of the haunted house, or the haunted attraction that I interviewed Shelby and O'Shawn last week. So we recorded that last night, and also got a sit down with Brock from the Myrtle Beach Boardwalk Comic Con that will come out on Monday as well. So good episode, by the way. You all released, but that was last week. I did finally get to listen to it.
The one with Vicky Ringer. Yeah, she was a great interview.
So that was very good. And I know you all have some things in the works that are coming up, including some interviews, but I won't give that away. I am excited for both of them, at least the two that I've been told about.
I don't even know what we've told you so far. So,
there's a couple doctors.
There's one. I don't know about the couple.
Well, there's one for Senate, and there's potentially one for governor, right?
Oh, that's right. Doctor, okay. That's a doctor too, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's very exciting. So that is going to wrap it up for today. Big thanks for everybody tuning in. Don't forget, you can follow me at barrettgruber and Bill at politicalbillsc. You can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday right here. Make sure to check out our podcast, the All About Nothing podcast, and also as well Black, White, and Blue in the South across all of the podcast verse. Till next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.